That's the rookie of the year. I'm standing next to him. I mean, that's all I can say right now.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce Lewis back out of the game for another Believe in Hawks episode. What are we calling this game, guys? The Zaccharie Risacher game. For some people, this is a breakout. For Hawks fans who've been watching the team all year, we all knew what Zaccharie was capable of, and he showed it against the Milwaukee Bucks in his career high 36 points tonight against them as the Hawks go on to roll over the Bucks 145-124. Very solid team winning the game they needed to win, especially with the 7th spot, trying to get that home court game in the 7th spot over Orlando, getting a big win against the Bucks with a returning Giannis tonight. Hawks did what they needed to do, and we're going to talk about it all here on Believe in Hawks. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. Also available on any audio platform, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever you want to listen to me on. Appreciate all the love and support you guys bring throughout this entire season as we almost are at the end of another Atlanta Hawks regular season and the second full year of Believe in Hawks. So I appreciate you guys for being along for the ride and the growth that we have had. And also, if you want to follow me on X, Brycey_2K, definitely you can reach out to me there, talk to me there, interact, see my tweets about the team and the game and other things going on. So definitely interact with me on there as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Hawks coming tonight to Milwaukee. Win the season series 3-2. They played an extra game because they played in the NBA Cup semifinals. And they win the season series 3-2. And the Bucks have been a team that ever since the Eastern Conference Final year, the Hawks have always played the Bucks tough. No matter what this team looks like, who's on this team, they always play the Bucks tough. And tonight was no different. And tonight, this is probably one of the more handier wins they've had over the Bucks this season, I believe. Just really the second half. Really got that lead and just never looked back and played some of their best basketball. So, and it was led by Zaccharie Risacher, the rookie, having a huge game tonight when they needed him most. 36-6 tonight, 5 of 11 from 3, and he was plus 19 from the field when he played as well. So we'll get a little bit into his night because I want to talk about just with Zach coming along and you've seen his improvement and you see his commitment to the game, how that's going to translate for the Hawks long term. But let's focus on just the numbers first here. Hawks tonight. Well, hold on, just jumped on me. Hawks tonight, 53% to Bucks 47. Hawks shot 35% to the Bucks 34. They had 36 assists tonight. We've talked about it multiple times on the podcast. Hawks have a high assist number. Usually means the offense goes pretty well. Dominated Milwaukee on the boards. Milwaukee, known as a big team. No Bobby Portis tonight, of course, but Brook Lopez, Giannis, they're known for having size. Hawks out-rebounding them by 10. Hawks also dominating in the fast break points. Hawks had 22 fast points tonight to Milwaukee's 4. Milwaukee is not really a run-and-gun type of team, realistically. And the Hawks they want to play with a high pace, and they were one of the top 5 teams in the league in pace of play. So 22 fast break points reflect that. 10 steals tonight, 2 blocks, 15 offensive rebounds, again, big on the boards, and 28 points off turnover. Hawks in that first quarter, within the first 6 minutes of the game, had 10 points off turnover. So the Hawks were everything, again, the Hawks needed to do, they did in the game, and they really took advantage of Milwaukee, who isn't playing their best basketball right now. Obviously, Damian Lillard's out. Like I said, Giannis just got back. They got some other guys who are hurt. But tonight, Hawks just outplayed them. And like I said, they balled out tonight. Hawks also were able to force 14 turnovers on the Bucks as well. So really good stuff from the team overall. Really big team effort. Multiple guys contribute in a game like this. It just kind of set up, it sets up an example of what's to come. I mean, you had Dyson had 22 tonight. Risacher had 36. Trae Young had 19. He almost had another 20-20 game, which I believe will be the third of this season for him. I mean, yeah, Yeka with another double-double. Mo Gay, he only played 19 minutes tonight, but he played well in those 19 minutes. 9 points, 9 rebounds tonight. A guy who didn't play last game and a guy who's been, embattled. Sometimes Quinn has to pull him. Sometimes he lets him play. Against the Bucks, he usually plays well against the Bucks. The Bucks clearly are a team that Mohamed Gay plays well against. So, and again, you would think, that wouldn't be a good matchup, but it is for him. So really, really good stuff from him tonight. And let's talk about Zach. That's why we're here. Talk about Zach, who should be Rookie of the Year, by the way. Should be Rookie of the Year. Zaccharie Risacher has the most 30-point games out of any rookie in this year's class, by the way. I mean, looks like to be the only rookie that is in that top tier of rookie candidates for Rookie of the Year who will probably be a playoff team. Just saying. But let's talk about Zach. Zach's obviously came on this later part of the year. He has made a ton of improvement from where he was at the beginning of the year to where he is now. That is plain and obvious. Very clear. There definitely has been a lot of improvement from him. The thing with Zach is, I think the big question everybody had was, what is Zachary's ceiling? What is he going to be? A lot of people didn't really know. Some people said Klay Thompson. Some people say, I remember the comparison to Tobias Harris. A lot of people said he could maybe become a really good role player, maybe a good starter. But now with some of what we've seen recently in tonight's performance, you're hearing more people say he could become a star. And there's so many videos that the Hawks media members have posted of Zach after practice consistently getting extra shots, working with coaches. You could see that Zach wants to be great. He wants to be good. 19 years old, putting in the work to try to be the best he can be every game, knowing that he was very raw. Listen, I'm sure Zach came into the league, started playing against NBA players, and realized, okay, this is where I am now, and this is where they are. And if I want to stay in this league, be successful, and be the player I think I can become, I got to put in the work to do it. And he has done it. And it's great that it's paying off right now for him. And that's why, Quinn has trusted him more recently and allowed him to kind of, really grow within himself, but also allow him to play so well that, like I said, he is in Rookie of the Year candidacy. And people are starting to advocate for Risacher on social media. I get on social and I'm seeing a bunch of Risacher posts, a lot of Risacher just glam and praise for what he did. And, some people put it as Risacher finally had a breakout game. And it's like, brother, Risacher's had big games. Because the thing about Risacher is he be having these types of games against some of the best teams in the league. 30 points against the Knicks. Don't forget when he had that 12-0 run against the Cavs and was like perfect from the first half and at 20-something points. The other huge game against Milwaukee. This man's not doing this against the worst teams in the league. He's doing this against some of the best. And so it just shows you, like, the potential is there. And so now everybody's trying to wonder. I mean, I've mentioned this before on my podcast. Some people have brought up, he could be better than Jalen Johnson, right? And right now, Jalen Johnson is probably our second best player, correct? And Jalen Johnson is someone people think he can become an all-star level player and think he can become a level player in everything. So it honestly, for me, y'all looking at it the wrong way. Y'all trying to figure out who's going to be better. I don't care who's better. If they both end up reaching their potential, that's 2 star players the Hawks are going to have for years to come. And that leads me into my point of where the Hawks are from a building perspective. Because think about it. Let's say you are a person who thinks that Zach can become a star player. And then Jalen can become a star player. And then some people think that with the way Dyson has improved, he can become a star player. You have 3 people that you think could become stars for you. And then if you keep Trae Young, who's already a star, that's 4 star players on Atlanta, which you would assume would set you up for long-term success, at least in the next 3 to 5 years, right? because obviously money and everything's going to come into play, and we'll have to see how they maneuver that. But like the Hawks truly have hit home runs, especially this offseason. You get Dyson, don't know what he's going to be. You get Zach, don't know what he's going to be. Now we're getting to end the regular season. We think they can be star players for the Atlanta Hawks. And I think that in of itself is what, if you look at the future of the Hawks, makes you excited. I think a lot of people with this team, because we're in this weird period where we had DeJounte and that was supposed to be a win now move and everything. What we don't realize is people's expectations are we got to, compete at the highest level and try to win a championship, or else we need to trade and restart, right? And people don't understand what they have right now. The Hawks are developing their guys. The development system shines through again, and it continues to show. And then when you have a guy like a Riascher who has the drive to want to be better, it just adds to that. It makes the process even more beautiful, because now you got a great developing staff with a player who wants to be great. And now you're seeing the fruits of his labor. That's why so many people are excited for a year two Zaccharie Risacher, a year two full-time starter of Dyson Daniels. If Jalen Johnson can become healthy, we think he can be great. There's so much there for the Hawks that you just sit and say, there's so much substance that this team could have for years to come. And I know that recently, I think it was Hoops Hype, a guy from Hoops Hype interviewed some of the players. I know he interviewed Trey, talked about his future, interviewed Chris LeVert, things of that nature. In that interview, he asked Trey about the future, like, "Oh, have you thought about the extension? Have you thought about it?" And Trey was like, "No, like I'm thinking about right now, what they need me to do right now, right? And we'll visit that when we visit it, right?" But I say it again with Trae Young, I do not see him leaving. I just, again, after the game, being with Zach, saying he's rookie of the year, like the way he supported Zach and just cheered Zach on through this season. Like, I just, listen, if Trey was going to leave, if Trey really was sitting here like, I want to leave Atlanta, he is show as hell making these guys feel like they're going to be together forever. And I said this in the article when they asked about him and Dyson Daniels. He literally said in that article that he's looking forward to building that relationship, building that on-court chemistry, in the future. That man basically hinted saying, that man sounds like he's like, I expect to be with Dyson Daniels for the next couple of years. He ain't say that in verbatim, but if you read what in that article, what they said, that boy basically was like, yeah, he basically hinted like probably not going to leave. Even though when asked directly, he just was like, I'm not going to, give actually any opinion on it or whatever. And to me, when you see that substance and you see what's going on with what the team is building, if you are Trae Young, you're seeing Riascher grow before your eyes. You're seeing Dyson Daniels grow before your eyes. You're seeing Jalen Johnson, who we know what he could do when he's healthy. For me as a player, it's like, it's hard not to get excited. Like, this isn't a team where you have a bunch of veterans. It's not like Paul George and or Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. Realistically, his team's not going to get that much better unless they start trading other people and then resetting the roster. This roster that they have in Philadelphia is not built to get better over the next 3 years, but they're going to eventually go back up to championship status because their top players are older. And really your best young player is Tyrese Maxey, but outside of that, who else is that star young player they have? They don't have one. So there's not a future there. Portland, when Damian Lillard was there, CJ McCollum was almost the same age as him. Like there was no young talent that was like, if Damian stays, he could play with this guy. Like there's a lot of stuff, like Phoenix right now. Devin Booker's great, but like outside that, who do they have that Devin Booker can be excited about for years to come? They have to go trade KD this offseason to do that, to even get a chance to have a player like that. Like, my point about that is Trey literally is in a situation where he can literally say, I have players on my roster right now that in 3 years could be really, really good. And that probably means this team will be much better. And basically, it's just a matter of, do you bail on it and just go? Or do you believe in what you see and stick? And that's my thought process on that. So, overall, I feel like with everybody who's shown up and grown throughout this season, I mean, Zach, just the performances he's put on, the confidence in his shot, the way he's attacking the rim, the finishing. And the thing about Zach is he always had those little things. A good cutter, he can finish around the rim, good at putbacks, good defensive discipline. He does so many things well, just the little things well. And then now if you're the Hawks, you're just trying to develop consistency. You're trying to develop just parts of his game that still have yet to be untapped. And with that sounds like you're about to develop and unlock a really good player and maybe potentially a star player. And, Zach, number 1 overall draft pick, probably has gotten the fewest, just the least amount of attention and fanfare as any first overall draft pick has ever gotten in NBA history. And, it honestly, for a guy like Zach and his personality and the way he carries himself, that probably is perfect for him because he's not that type of guy who's just going to start barking and all this stuff. He's a guy who just wants to grind, wants to work, wants to get better. And then he just, and sometimes guys like to do that in the shadows, in silence. And I'm not saying he's in the shadows doing it, but what I'm saying is sometimes all that fanfare isn't ideal. Obviously, think about Zion Williamson. When he came into the league, the noise was huge. Everybody thought he was going to change their franchise because of the hype behind him. People came into this draft. Nobody thought Riascher was going to change the franchise. And Riascher made him single-handedly himself not change the franchise. But he could be a part of something greater that helps change the franchise. And then that's what leads to the higher-end success that they could potentially have moving forward. And so it's just very inspiring to see the performances we see tonight and just for Riascher to continue to put himself on the map. And listen, I feel like Riascher should have been in rookie of the year conversations 2 months ago. People want to start putting him in there now. That's fine. But Zach has always shown just the things that you want to see. And I'm really excited for what's to come with him. Really excited after the game tonight. And honestly, it feels like after every big Riascher game, it makes you just say, if this is the player he can become, the Hawks struck gold. The Hawks struck gold. Even if because like there's still people who probably aren't sold. Because like people were on social talking about, I remember when we drafted Riascher and I didn't like him. And people were like, I was wrong. I was not a fan of him. I wasn't a fan of the pick, and he's proven me wrong. And Riascher's proved a lot of people wrong with his play. And he just, the thing is, you got to have guys who are bought in. You have to have guys who want to be there, and you have to have guys who are connected. People wanted Alex Sarr. Remember, Alex Sarr didn't want to be in Atlanta. You want to draft a player who doesn't want to be here. So is he going to put in the same amount of work that he maybe he's putting in Washington? Is he going to grind? Is he going to commit? Is he going to, if a player is already showing he doesn't want to be there, is he, because y'all are just looking at it as like, well, he's under contract and we're paying him money. But like, if you're trying to build a culture, you want everybody to be bought in because, I mean, we heard the rumors with DeJounte. He may have not been bought in all the way. That may have impacted some things in the locker room. So why would you go and draft another player who ain't bought in all the way? Would it make any sense from an organizational standpoint? So you got a guy who wants to work, wants to get better, grinds, and fits with Hawks DNA. And now you're seeing the fruits of that labor. You're seeing Dyson Daniels continue to grow before our eyes, continue to play better, have a strong game. Trey Young now has these games where he doesn't have to score 30. He could, him having a 15-plus assist game could just be just as effective, just as big for this team. And the pieces are kind of coming in place. Okongwu playing really good basketball right now for the Hawks. And like I said, you figure out that bench next year and you continue to try to have strong bench play moving forward. Hawks are set up to have a boom year next year. they are set up to be really, really good next year if they stay healthy. And that in and of itself is what makes it very exciting if you're a Hawks fan. So that's my spiel. And so on and so forth. So let's go to player performances. As I mentioned tonight, Trae Young, 19 and 19. And listen, like I said, this is where Trae's at his best, man, where he doesn't have to carry the offensive ball. It's great when he does. But, sometimes it feels like the team's just as good, just as sharp, and just as efficient when he has high assist games like this. Cleveland was a prime example. I think it was the first Cleveland game. He had 20, that's when he had his first 2020 game, I believe. And the team was just clicking on all cylinders that game. And that's why I say Trae Young not scoring 30 points isn't something that he has to do all the time. If he gets that high assist number, that just shows you the ball movement and guys are making shots, and that means the Hawks are still able to create offense and make some good plays. So, Trae Young continues to go out there, try to be a leader, try to help the guys, try to support them, and try to help lead them as they continue to get poured. Now they've clinched a play-in spot. They're going to play an extra game, and so now they just got to go out there and compete and play at the highest level and try to get into the postseason. Because even Trae said after the game, postseason is a different animal, different energy. So, and I know he wants to get that experience with the young guys. He wants them to be in that environment and let them thrive. So, really exciting stuff there. Like I said, Dyson Daniels, Risacher, 36 and 6 tonight. Huge game from the Rook. Really played hard, competed at the highest level. Just did everything, and was a nuisance for the Bucks. Dyson Daniels, 29, 9 and 6. I mean, Dyson, like I said, man, the growth he showed offensively has been very impressive. And then, like I said, getting on the boards, not rebounds. Dyson, active on the boards, and also having to play that backup point guard spot, being able to facilitate 6 assists. Second unit has been a bit better since Vic Krejci's gotten back. I've talked about how he's helped Dyson Daniels in that role, and I think it also helps Dyson Daniels himself in that role to be more effective when he's on the court. Okongwu, 13 and 10 tonight. Tied for the third highest plus minus of any Hawk. And listen, people are going to always question if Okongwu can be the guy moving forward just because of his size. But at the end of the day, for the Hawks, I mean, if he continues to play well like this, you're not going to be really having any incentive to move him anytime soon unless a star center becomes available or a star player that maybe they would like to acquire becomes available. So, realistically, Okongwu just has to continue to play this way, continue to get double-doubles, continue to be active on the boards, play bigger than his size, and score when he has opportunities. And he said he's hit a couple of threes. Night 1 of 4, but again, getting more confident in that three-point shot, getting more three-point shot attempts up. So that just kind of shows you where Onyeka Okongwu is growing in confidence with that shot and just growing in confidence in his role as well. Mo Gay, as I said, strong game, 9 and 9 tonight. Like I said, just plays a bit different against the Bucks. Just seems to have his best games against them. And maybe that's just a team for him that he just feels more confident against, especially, again, a team that you would think big, kind of like Houston had some bigs, struggled against them, against the Bucks. It's a little bit different. He's able to find success. Chris LeVert tonight didn't have a crazy game, only 9 points. But, again, we know what he did. 2 blocks on the defensive end tonight, active on the defensive end. And just like I said, another guy who can get the ball in his hands and create plays with it. Barlow, 8 points tonight, giving him some good minutes off the bench at that backup center position. Obviously, he's a guy who can score the ball a little bit. And if he's able to provide offense, that just helps the Hawks offense even more. Just him being able to provide, hitting a 3 tonight. He seems a little bit more confident with his offensive game. And that's just something, again, part of the development system that they're trying to put him through as he continues to get better. Vic Krejci didn't have a crazy offensive game tonight, 3 points, 2 rebounds. But, again, Vic Krejci continues to be active. George Niang had a big set first half. He had he finished for 17 in the game. I believe he led all scorers at half in terms of the Hawks. But really in the second half, they didn't need Niang to go crazy. And, he played a really good game. And when Niang has a good offensive game, the Hawks usually play better overall. And then Terrence Mann, 9 points tonight, 4 assists, 1 rebound. Again, the bench mob doing what they need to do, help this team out, continue to play hard. and win some games. So overall, I think the Hawks really are, you know where you stand right now in the standings. You're back up to 7th right now with this win, just by a half a game over Orlando. Some people are looking at the fact that the Hawks are 4 games behind the Bucks. Bucks are going through a bit of a free fall right now. That realm of possibility. Could the Hawks catch the Bucks, especially now they have the tiebreaker? Next few games coming up for the Bucks. Let's talk about it. Suns, who's fighting for playoff lives. Sixers, they should win. Heat, Bucks are going to be favored, but Heat could win that game. Pelicans, they're going to be favorite, but Pelicans could win that game. Zion has a big game. And then you finish with the Timberwolves, Pistons twice, and the Pelicans. And the Pistons are going to have something to play for. So, realistically, I could maybe say, if I said I could nail down 4 losses for them, it'd probably be, I'd say, probably Timberwolves. I think they could lose to the Pistons twice, and I think they could lose one of the Pelicans games. Even though the Pelicans have not been great this year. And then, listen, if the Hawks go, because I think the Hawks have 8 games left too. If the Hawks go 5-3 to end the season, and the Bucks go 4-4 to end the season, I believe. No, that's cap. My math is way off. Hawks would have to win 5 games. Bucks could only win, I think, like 2 games. If the Bucks finish like 2-6, and if Hawks win, let's just say basically Hawks have to basically win like 85% of their games. They could jump the Bucks and get that spot. Now, obviously, the Hawks have some tough games coming up. They play the Blazers next Tuesday. You really need that game against them. Even though they're playing some good ball, the young players on that team playing some good ball. You got the Mavericks who playing some good ball, 80 back, and the Knicks. So this isn't going to be an easy stretch of basketball for them. They win these next 3 games. These are going to be some good wins for them to get more confidence going into the play-in tournament. And you just continue to build off of that. And then you got the Jazz, Magic. Obviously, that's a huge game. Last 2 out of the last 4 against them. Nets and Sixers. So we'll have to see, man. But like I said, Zaccharie Risacher is the star of the night. Huge performance for him. The star continues to be born. The French GOAT is here. And I'm happy about the progress he's made. And I'm happy about, the win against the Bucks. So I appreciate you guys tuning into another episode of Believe in the Hawks. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. Follow me on X, Bricey_2K, BRICEY. Like I said, listen to this podcast on any audio platform available. So if you can't watch the video version, you want to listen to me on the road tripping, you know what I'm saying, talking, just want to hear some hoops, go ahead, pull up Believe in the Hawks, tell your friends about it, share it with people, man. I appreciate all the love and support from you guys. It's your boy, Bryce Lewis. See you next time.